Hey friend, hey, today we are making some easy homemade granola and we are making some homemade apple butter, perfect for the fall, perfect for beginners if you're new to cooking. So let's get started. First, we're going to start with our ingredients for our granola. So we need some old fashioned oats or rolled oats. I'm using coconut. These are all my add-ins: pumpkin seeds, almonds. You're going to need a sweetener of choice. You can use sugar. I chose to use agave and honey this day. And then you're going to use some vanilla, any vanilla of your choice, cinnamon, a pinch of kosher salt, and we're going to use some coconut oil to bring that wet mixture together. So in a medium saucepan, you want to get your coconut together. I will have all the measurements listed down below, so make sure that you check that out if you are interested, okay? So I'm going in with my agave and my honey. I did put too much coconut oil. Listen, I'm not a measure cook, okay, but I do have measurements for you. But I did put a little bit too much coconut oil, but that's okay, baby. We made it work. So we're going in with 3 cups of Old Fashioned Oats, and then I'm adding in my pumpkin seeds, my almonds. My pumpkin seeds were roasted and salted, and I just love the added little flavor it adds to it. We're going in with coconut and some cinnamon, and then a pinch of salt, and we're going to give this a good mix. And while we wait for our wet mixture to just melt, we don't want to boil it or anything like that. We just want to heat it up so we can get it all mixed up. So now our wet mixture, our coconut is melted. We're going to go in and now we add in our vanilla. Okay, we're going to give that a little good mix. And then we're going to pour this right on top. What you're looking for is kind of like very much like wet sand, but you don't want the mixture sitting at the bottom. If you find that your mixture is sitting on the bottom, you need to add in some more oats. If it's too dry, you need to melt down a little bit more. I would say maybe a couple tablespoons at a time until you get a mixture that is well incorporated. So now we're going to get our baking pan. You definitely probably should use 2 pans. I did not want to because I have a hot spot in my oven that gets extremely hot and I did not want this to burn. So I just kind of packed mine all in here. But it came out fine because I had more clusters. So you want to like spread your mixture out thin and not thin, but you want to kind of compact it. If you want granola that is more clusters, you want to make sure you pack it in real good. So now we're going to bake it at 250 for an hour, and stopping every 15 minutes and stirring it just like this. You just want to mix it up. Really pay attention to the edges because that tends to get the brownness. So I'd like to take the edges and put it to the center and then just kind of spread it out from there again. Again, going back in and packing it back down so you can have those nice thick clusters of granola. So now this is the final project, and see, you have those big thick clusters of granola. So I'm just showing you here what that looks like. And then I'm going to go ahead and just break this up. I like to store this in, I recycle a lot of my jars. So I'm just going to put this in an old coffee jar and it'll be good for at least a month. Mine doesn't last longer than a month. So as long as it's in an airtight container, it will last you for quite some time. Just use your senses. If it starts smelling, get rid of it, of course. Now moving on to the apple butter. Okay, this day I'm using Pink Lady. I use Honey Crisp. I use a Gala apple. And I even threw in a green apple just for a little bit of tartness. And I really, really liked how this one came out. So you want to make sure your apples are washed and clean. I'm going in with my apple slicer. If you are a mom, okay, you need this in your life. This is like my second one. My first one broke because my son used to eat a lot of apples and he still does, but now he just eats them whole. He's a teenager now. And it's funny because now I eat the apple slices. But anyways, you want to get these nice and core. You don't have to have an apple slicer. You can do this with a knife. Make sure, just keep out that for seeds and any core pieces, because that can be very bitter. We don't want that. So get them all sliced up and put into a Dutch oven. You can do this in a crock pot. I know it's a little bit different, I think. I don't know. I've never made my apple butter in a crock pot. I've always used my Dutch oven. So that's what I would recommend. So we have our apples in here all nice and sliced. I did not add anything else to it. No water, nothing. You just want to put a top on it, put it in your oven for 275 and just let it cook. You can see here these have cooked for now like an hour and 15 minutes. Now they're soft and they're at the point where we can now blend it. So I'm gonna stick these in some blender, just the apples alone and the juices that were at the bottom of the pot, and we're gonna blend this. Mine started getting a little bit too thick, so I did add some water just to help smooth it out. Probably about 4 tablespoons of water. Just slowly add it at a time. You don't want it too watery, but you want it to at least be smooth. So here we go. Honestly, if you wanted to make applesauce, you could stop right here, friend. Put it in a container and put it in the fridge. But we're making apple butter today, so look at it. Nice and silky and smooth. It is going to get thicker, yeah, as it cooks. And depending on the thickness that you desire is the cooking time that you can stop. So now this is such an easy recipe, but I think it's the tedious of stirring. So you want to make sure, friend, that you are scraping the sides of the pot as best as you can, because it will burn and have your apple butter tasting like burnt. That happened to me one year and I was so upset. So make sure that you are scraping the sides, not only the bottom, but scraping the sides down as best as you can to get that good caramel flavor. So now this is after 3 hours of cooking. You see it's starting to get richer in color. We were looking for more of a dark amber color. So I'm gonna allow this to keep cooking for another 30 minutes, increments of just stirring. So now this is after 5 hours, okay? You may want to stop here. I'm going to keep going. So again, making sure that you're stirring it up pretty well. So now this is after 6 hours. I probably, if for the most part, most people will probably want to stop here. I did not. I did not add any sugar to mine this year. I'm trying to cut back on the amount of sugar that I'm adding. But if you try yours at this stage and see, hey, I want a little bit more sugar, add some sugar in there, whatever sweetener you want, maple syrup, whatever. Add whatever spices you want. I just added a pinch of salt, a pinch of kosher salt, and cinnamon, a few dashes of cinnamon as you see on the screen. That's all I added. I did not add any additional sugar, because for me, it was sweet enough. I don't want it too sweet where I can't, like if I want to add some of this into coffee, it's not overly sweet. I can add it to my oatmeal and it won't be overly sweet for me. I don't like overly sweet. Now, here we go. This is after 7 hours of cooking, I believe. And this is what I like. I like it thick, friend. I like that thing to be super thick. Let me show you. Pop. It ain't going nowhere. It's not going nowhere at all. That's what I love. So when I heat it back up, to put on bread or toast or whatever, it's not runny and loose like a goose. Okay, she's thick. She's holding it together. So I just, again, recycle one of my jam jars and put my apple butter in there. You want to store it in the fridge. Again, mine lasts about a month, but yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Recipes linked down below.